Hello friends, you've stumbled across a short clip from the Daily Switch 2 podcast, which, believe it or not, is a podcast that is about the Switch 2 with new episodes released daily. What will they think of next?
So, of course, the elephant in the room, or gorilla, I suppose, is Donkey Kong Bananza. I think we can all guess that it will be in my newly updated top 10, but can it grab the top spot? In my previous video with my top 10 most anticipated games before it released, it was my number one pick of games that I could not wait for. So let's just quickly insert a clip of what I said back then. And number one, this is pretty predictable if you know me and if you listen to my episodes, but number one game that I'm most looking forward to is Donkey Kong Bananza. I'll be doing my first impressions review on the day of release, and then we'll be talking more and more about it afterwards, because frankly, I have not been so excited for a game in maybe a decade. This game is so a bit of me. There's nothing about this game that I don't absolutely love the look of. Frankly, I could not be more excited about this game. So, as you can hear, I was pretty excited to say the least. And then, on release, I did my first impressions review. Here's a few choice quotes from that review just to show how I was feeling at the time. I am already obsessed. I kid you not, so far. This is a candidate for my favourite game of quite literally all time. Yes, above any Sonic game, even any Mario game. It's that good, and at the very least, it is a 10 out of 10. And in my entire time reviewing games professionally, or at least semi-professionally, since the late 90s, I'm not sure that I've ever actually given a 10 out of 10 before. But from what I've played so far, it's as close to perfect as I can imagine a 3D platformer ever being. Even if there is never another good game released for the system, this justifies the price of entry. I would have bought the console just for this title alone. This is a once-in-a-generation game, maybe once in a lifetime. It is that good, in my opinion. So, my number one game is, predictably, Donkey Kong Bananza. In my early review, I gave it a tentative 10 out of 10, and now that I've played it for much longer, completed the main game and much of the post-game, I can happily say that it is still a 10 for me. The game got better the more that I played it, and the post-game is still so much fun. I still don't see myself stopping playing it anytime soon. It's one of those games that I just, when I'm not playing it, I think about playing it and I want to go back to it. I just find it such fun. It's just pure escapism for me. This is an absolute all-timer, and one that I think I'll keep coming back to basically forever. It's comfortably in my top 5 favourite games ever, and it is in competition for number one. Is it a 100% perfect game? No. There are very minor things that could be improved. If I were to give it a percentage score, I'd probably give it maybe 98%. My biggest issue is the camera when you're digging underground. It definitely could be improved, and I don't like how it always snaps back behind you after you adjust it. So if you want to hold it at a certain angle for whatever platforming reason, you have to readjust it regularly. But the camera is always an issue with 3D platform games, and this is still a million times better than most. I would say it's perfect when you're overground. And in a game where there are a million more difficult or even impossible situations for the camera to deal with, it's amazing that they've got it this right. For the majority of my playthrough, it didn't bother me in the slightest. So that's maybe the 1% knocked off, so it's not 100%. And how about the other 100% to get us to 98? Well, there's some stuff that I just wish was included in the post-game that's not. Most notably, while I love that Diddy and Dixie Kong were included in the game, I wish that in the post-game you could have them accompany you instead of Pauline. It's not that I don't love Pauline, I adore her and think that the story is great and her growth and interactions with DK are perfect. It's just that I grew up with the DKC games and I would love for Diddy and Dixie to get to do more. But then that's what sequels are for, right? I think a sequel with multiple playable Kongs would be amazing, or a spin-off where Diddy and Dixie get to go on an adventure. That would be cool too. I guess it's a bit like how I felt when I completed Mario 64 for the first time. I adored that game, and I was so happy when I spoilers for a 25, 30-year-old game. When I found Yoshi on the top of the castle. But there was that element of being slightly disappointed that you could find Yoshi, but you couldn't then get on him and ride him. It would have been so cool in the post-game if you could ride Yoshi, even if it was just round the castle. And that's kind of how I feel with Diddy and Dixie here. It's fine that they weren't, playable in the main game. I love the game between Pauline and DK. I think it was perfect. But in the post game where you're just messing around, it would be so cool if you could just have Diddy and Dixie to follow you instead. And I also had a comment from Buttons and Boxes that one of her kids actually wished that you could play through with Oddrock instead of Pauline. And again, I can't see why that couldn't be added as an update of something that could be added in post game easily enough. And that would be really cool too. But I think other than that, really, the game is basically perfect. And I've had so much fun with it. And I totally stick by my assertion that even if no other game ever released, Donkey Kong Bonanza is the killer app that justifies my purchase of a Switch 2. The only real negative spot that some people will have is, and this is a very sad issue, that some people are having those issues with motion sickness that you might have heard about. I truly, deeply love this game, and the fact that there is a small percentage of people that can't enjoy it because of that issue, it genuinely makes me very sad to think about. If you have experienced this, I recommend turning off the camera shake, dampening the camera sensitivity, and playing docked rather than handheld so you won't have issues with the screen ghosting. I'll talk about my issues with the screen and why it might be causing this for some people in another video. This isn't the place. For now, I'm just offering possible solutions to hopefully allow more people to enjoy this truly incredible title. Because for me, I've had no issues with motion sickness, and I just adore the game. And it's just so sad that some people can't experience it because of that. So I hope what I've just said there will help you a little bit. I've many full episodes on the game planned and at least partially recorded and edited, as I mentioned before, so I'll leave it there for now. Those episodes keep getting delayed because Nintendo keeps doing time-sensitive stuff, like the Direct today or tomorrow and Pokemon Presents, but trust me, I will be doing multiple videos before my final, full, detailed review, really paying full tribute to this game. I can't tell you how much I love it. I think it's still too early to say if by the time the dust has settled, it will take the number one top spot as my favorite game of all time for any system, but it's very, very close. And I honestly can't imagine any new Switch 2 game or PS5 or Series X or PC game of the modern era taking the top spot in my top 10 modern games, and certainly not in the top 10 for the Switch 2 as a console.
Well, that was funny / sad / informative / stupid, wasn't it? Feel free to mentally redact to make that make sense with the clip that you just heard. I don't know what it was. I'm just recording a bumper. But if you enjoyed the clip, please give it a like. If you'd like to hear more, click subscribe, and you can find all the ways to listen to and support the full daily podcast at linktree/dailyswitch2. That's linktr.ee/dailyswitch2. Let's go! Did I sound like I mean that? I do. I really do.